"Have you overlooked me, human?" the alien princess whispered, and the starship Endeavor drifted silently through the twin suns, light, glinting against the purple clouds of the Vera system. Captain Alina Cross stood on the observation deck, her hands resting lightly on the railing as her eyes followed the glowing planet below. It was a world unlike any she had ever seen. Forests of crystals stretched endlessly, catching the sun's rays and scattering them in every direction. Rivers of liquid light carved their way through valleys, and mountains floated in the air, defying gravity. "Alina," called Lieutenant Rajan, her second-in-command, from the communications console. "We're receiving faint energy readings from the northern hemisphere. They don't match anything in our database. Let's find out what's hiding out there." Finally, the largest crystalline formation on the horizon revealed itself, a palace gleaming and translucent, rising from the ground as if it had always been part of the land. "It's perfect," Alina whispered, "and it looks abandoned." "We're going down. I want a closer look." Marlowe, the ship's xenologist. "These symbols, I've never seen anything like them. They're like a language, but also like music." A soft whisper, clear and calm. "Have you overlooked me, human? Or do you only see stones and light?" The walls seemed to shift subtly as she moved, light bending and reflecting in ways that made her feel dizzy and amazed at the same time. Then she saw it, a figure, almost translucent, floating slightly above the floor. A humanoid shape, tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered like polished crystal and eyes that glowed softly in shades of blue and violet. "I am Liara," the figure said, this time speaking aloud as well as in her mind. "You have found my sanctuary. My people have vanished, but I remain, and now you are here. Or perhaps I am curious enough to see what lies within you. Or maybe she's warning us. My people were lost, and I was left to guard what remains. You may be the first species capable of challenging what comes. I have watched humans in the distant reaches of space. You are clever, resilient, unpredictable. Perhaps you hold the key to what my people could not achieve alone." That's what humans do. The humans instinctively stepped back, their scanners picking up a massive energy signature approaching the planet. "What is that?" Rajan asked, his voice tense. Liara's eyes darkened. "The scouts of the Void Maw. It senses new life, new energy. It comes to test you and me. Whatever comes, we won't back down." The Void Maw was unknown, but if humans could survive, it would require not just courage, but ingenuity, adaptability, and teamwork. Liara stayed behind in her palace, watching them leave with a faint smile. "Humans, they are remarkable. Perhaps I did overlook them before. Perhaps they are the hope I have waited for. We've faced impossible odds before, crew. This is just another challenge. Keep your minds open, trust each other, and remember, we're humans. That means we don't give up, even when the universe seems to demand it." They didn't yet understand the full scope of the threat approaching, but one thing was clear. Liara believed in them, and now so would they. The twin suns of Vera set behind the crystalline mountains, bathing the planet in a surreal, golden light. For the humans, it was a world of wonder, mystery, and imminent danger. But it was also a world where they might prove that humanity, resourceful, brave, and unyielding, was not to be overlooked. As night fell, the palace shimmered faintly in the distance. Liara's whispers floated through Alina's mind one last time. "Do not underestimate yourselves, human. The universe will test you, but perhaps you are ready." For the first time in centuries, hope glimmered in her mind, not for her people, but for the humans she had chosen to observe. And so the stage was set. The first whispers of the Void Maw reached the planet. The humans had been noticed, and the game, one that spanned the stars, had only just begun. The Endeavor hovered quietly above Vera, its engines humming as the crew prepared for the unknown. Captain Alina Cross stood at the command console, her eyes scanning the growing energy signatures detected by their sensors. The readings were subtle at first, like a ripple through the crystal forests below, But then they intensified, moving faster, more coordinated. Whatever was coming, it was not natural. "Captain," Lieutenant Rajan said, pointing at the monitors, "the energy patterns are changing. They're analyzing us. I think it's intelligent, and it's coming closer. Liara, can you help us understand what we're dealing with? Then we'll do whatever it takes." The energy is constantly changing, like it's learning from our scans. It adapts faster than any army you have known. Engineers modified energy shields to mimic the crystalline structures of Vera. They crafted decoy drones that emitted energy patterns similar to the humans' own signatures, hoping to confuse the Void Maw. Scientists analyzed Liara's descriptions of the entity, translating her alien insights into strategies the humans could implement. Hours passed, and the tension in the ship was palpable. Alina walked along the corridors, checking on her crew. Each person worked tirelessly, innovating on the fly, adjusting shields, recalibrating sensors, and improvising weapons from the ship's existing systems. "Captain," Rajan said, approaching her, "the shadows are getting closer. We're picking up direct interference with our shields. It knows we're here. Not with force, but with thinking. Use the crystals, use the landscape, use the unexpected. The Void Maw will test every limit of your minds and your courage. Divert all power to the crystal field emitters," she ordered. "We need to slow it down before it reaches the surface." The humans watched, their hearts racing as their first attempts at defense were partially successful but far from sufficient. Liara's voice echoed in Alina's mind again, urging focus. "It learns from you. It will try to mimic and anticipate. You must stay unpredictable. That is the only way. Something it hasn't seen before. The moment it approaches, we make it choose, adapt or fail." As the first massive tendrils of the Void Maw descended, the humans activated their plan. The crystalline barriers pulsed with energy, channels of light stretching from the palace to the edge of the forest. The decoys emitted false readings, drawing the entity's attention. The Void Maw hesitated, seemingly evaluating the humans' tactics. Its shadows split and merged, adapting to the energy patterns, but the humans stayed one step ahead, constantly adjusting, thinking faster than it could predict. "Keep it up," Alina shouted, sweat glistening on her forehead. "Think, improvise, never stop." They invent, adapt, and take risks without hesitation. Perhaps they are the species I have waited for. Using a combination of decoys, energy pulses, and the crystal resonance, they trapped the tendrils in a feedback loop, immobilizing the entity temporarily. Cheers erupted aboard the Endeavor, though no one let their guard down. Alina's voice was firm over the comms. "Good work, crew, but this isn't over. We've delayed it, not destroyed it. Be ready for anything. One challenge at a time." Liara's telepathic presence remained constant, offering insight but never controlling them. "Your species does not rely solely on instruction. You improvise. You create. That is why I believe you can survive what is coming. We adapt, we survive, and we outthink even the most dangerous foes." As the day progressed, the humans continued their preparations. They fortified the palace's perimeter, improved the energy resonators, and devised new tactics to counter the Void Maw's adaptability. Every member of the crew contributed, combining human ingenuity with alien knowledge, creating defenses that were unique, unpredictable, and clever. Liara watched from her palace, her mind alive with possibilities. These humans, they may be the first species able to challenge the darkness. I have waited centuries for one with the courage and creativity to face it. Perhaps they are the hope of the stars. "We've survived the first wave," she said softly to Rajan. "But the real test is coming. Whatever happens, we stick together, trust our minds, and never give up. That's what makes us human. You have only begun to show what you are capable of. The universe is watching, and so am I." And somewhere in the Crystal Palace, Liara's gaze lingered on the humans below, hope stirring for the first time in centuries. The Endeavor hovered in tense silence above the crystal forests of Vera, its hull shimmering in the pale light of the twin suns. Captain Alina Cross stood at the command console, her eyes fixed on the readings flashing across the monitors. The Void Maw, that strange, consuming entity, had returned. Its presence was heavier this time, pressing against the planet's natural energy in ways that made the very crystals hum with tension. "Captain," Lieutenant Rajan said, voice tight, "it's larger than before. The readings are off the charts. Whatever it's doing, it's learning from us. Humans are good at thinking when there seems to be no solution. That's why we survive where others fail. You must understand it as my people once did, but they lacked what you possess, creativity without fear." Scientists devised a series of false energy signatures, some static, some dynamic, designed to confuse the Void Maw. But this time, the humans knew it would anticipate conventional tactics. They needed something new. Dr. Marlowe studied the palace's crystal formations, tracing subtle vibrations. "The crystals respond to certain energy frequencies," she explained. "We could amplify those frequencies through the ship systems. If we do it right, we can create a field strong enough to repel, or at least slow, its advance." "Yes, focus not on brute force but on balance. The Void Maw respects patterns, but it does not anticipate ingenuity. Every adjustment could create feedback strong enough to damage the ship or backfire entirely." Hours passed, the tension building as the first tendrils of the Void Maw stretched across the skies. Unlike before, it was not a single mass but multiple interwoven shadows, moving as if they were testing, probing for weaknesses. "Here it comes," Rajan said, his fingers flying over the controls. "Prepare the first stage of the resonance field." Liara hovered in the palace, observing every move. "Impressive. Your species anticipates, adapts, and creates in ways others cannot. You are not merely surviving, you are shaping the battle itself." "Damage report," Alina barked. Minor systems were affected, but no one panicked. Instead, the crew immediately rerouted energy, reinforcing the shields and adjusting the decoys' patterns. Each human mind was a node of rapid calculation, improvising as the Void Maw tested them at every turn. "This is what I have never seen before," Liara whispered in their minds. "They do not just follow instructions. They invent, they predict, they create solutions that no formula can anticipate. Perhaps this is what it means to be human. Don't just respond, confuse it. Humans are not bound by the predictable. That is why you can survive this. The Void Maw is learning, but we learn faster." "Temporary success," Marlowe said, breathing heavily. "But it's only delayed, not defeated." Every new tactic forced the Void Maw to adapt, but the humans stayed a step ahead, thinking in ways no algorithm could predict. Liara's admiration for them grew. They invent in the moment. They trust intuition. They embrace the unknown. This is how they will survive where others failed. Marlowe realized that the Void Maw's energy pulses created subtle weak points when reflected through the crystal fields. "Captain, if we can amplify the reflection, it could trap the entity for longer." Light and energy surged through the crystal forest, converging in precise locations that created a web of reflective force. The Void Maw's tendrils struck the fields and were pulled into the web, unable to move freely. Its dark mass writhed, thrashing against the trap, but the human's ingenuity held. Liara's voice echoed, filled with awe. "Humans, they defy expectation. They do not rely on fear or brute force. They think, they imagine, they overcome." For the first time, the entity was fully restrained, unable to advance further. Alina leaned against the console, wiping sweat from her brow. "We did it, but this isn't over. It learned from us. Next time we'll have to invent something even greater. You have proven what my people could not. Your ingenuity, courage, and persistence are remarkable. Perhaps the universe has found a species worthy of standing against the darkness. We've survived the first real encounter with the Void Maw, but we'll need to learn from it, grow stronger, and keep thinking faster than it does. Remember this, and you will endure. Alina looked at her crew and then at the palace. Liara is right. We are capable of more than we know. The universe is dangerous, yes, but it's also full of opportunity. And humanity is ready for anything. The universe will continue to challenge you, but you have already begun to prove that you are worthy. I will watch, and perhaps one day I will stand beside you in the battles to come. They had learned that fear could be overcome with intelligence, that danger could be met with courage, and that even the darkest entity could be challenged by the brilliance of human minds. And somewhere in the palace, Liara watched over them, certain that these humans, resourceful, inventive, and brave, were the hope the galaxy had long waited for. The night over Vera was quiet, but it was a calm before the storm. The Void Maw had been temporarily restrained, but its presence still loomed over the planet like a dark shadow, pulsing through the crystal forests below. Captain Alina Cross stood on the observation deck of the Endeavour, her mind racing with plans and contingencies. She knew the Void Maw was learning, adapting, and would not wait long before it tried again. "Captain," Lieutenant Rajan said, "we've analyzed the energy patterns from yesterday. The Void Maw is rebuilding, recalculating. It's preparing a full assault. Then we'll be ready. Yesterday we survived. Today we strike with purpose. Humans don't just survive, they innovate, they adapt, they win." This is where humanity proves itself. The humans would need to think beyond expectation. Dr. Marlowe pointed to the palace's central crystal chamber. "The crystal lattice here resonates with the planet's core. If we can synchronize it with the ship's energy output and our decoys, we could create a trap that actually contains the Void Maw indefinitely, or at least long enough to study it. But we need to go beyond synchronization. We need unpredictability, creativity. That's what humans do best. We create solutions no one expects. Your species does not fear the unknown. You face it and transform it into opportunity." The Void Maw recoiled, its shadows twisting and writhing as if confused, but it quickly adapted, splitting into multiple forms, striking at different angles. The humans reacted instantly, improvising new decoy patterns, shifting the crystal resonance and adjusting shields in real time. Alina's mind was calm, focused. "Remember, crew, this is more than a fight. This is a test of ingenuity. Think, create, adapt. Observe how they transform chaos into strength. This is what my people could never do. Humans create possibilities where others see limits. Activate the decoy, swarm, and redirect energy to the secondary crystal nodes. Let it overreach. Amplify the resonance through the primary lattice." Liara materialized fully in the palace chamber, her eyes shining with pride. "Humans, you have done what my people could not. You think, you adapt, and you create. You have transformed fear into strength, danger into opportunity. I am honored to witness this." But it was our own ingenuity that made the difference. But the humans had built layers of unpredictability into the field. Each attempt it made to escape was countered by another unexpected measure, forcing it into further containment. Rajan looked at Alina, awe in his eyes. "Captain, we actually did it. We trapped it. This is what makes humans unstoppable. When others see limits, we see possibilities. This is the essence of humanity, and it is why you will endure where others fail." Alina addressed her crew, her voice steady and commanding. "What we've accomplished here is more than survival. We've proven that intelligence, creativity, and courage are as powerful as any weapon. Humans are capable of overcoming even the most impossible odds. Remember this, the universe will always challenge us, but we are ready for anything. This is the species the galaxy has awaited." "We came here as explorers," she said softly to Rajan, "but we leave as something more. Humans are underestimated across the stars, but today we've shown what we can do. We are not just survivors, we are creators, thinkers, and pioneers. Go forward, humans. Carry your courage, your creativity, and your hope into the universe. You are the species that will endure, the species that will shine when others falter. Remember your strength and you will always prevail. They had faced a being that no other species could challenge, survived against impossible odds, and triumphed through ingenuity, creativity, and unbreakable human spirit. Liara watched them go, her heart filled with hope. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but humanity, bold, inventive, and unyielding, was ready for whatever lay ahead. For the first time in centuries, she felt certain that the future, though uncertain, was bright. As the ship accelerated into space, leaving the glowing crystal planet behind, Alina reflected on the journey. "We've been tested," she said quietly, "and we've proven ourselves, not just to the stars, but to ourselves. Humanity is capable of more than anyone realizes. And this is only the beginning. For you are the light that the universe cannot ignore." For humans, the stars were not a limit. They were a canvas, and every obstacle was an opportunity. And with their minds, courage, and creativity, there was nothing the universe could hide from them.